WWE superstars Becky Lynch and Kevin Owens discussed the allegations against former TKO and WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon. Plenty of details on that. Plus, several matches reportedly are now in place following the Elimination Chamber event this past weekend in Perth, Australia. Eric Bischoff says that a new writing addition to AEW is the most exciting thing to happen to the promotion in the last 3 years. Plus, we have an announcement from Kenny Omega amid his recent AEW injury hiatus. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about some comments from some high-profile WWE superstars about the allegations and lawsuit made against former WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon, former Executive Vice President of Talent Relations John Laurinaitis, as well as the company WWE as a whole. Now, during an interview with Inside the Ropes prior to this past weekend's WWE Elimination Chamber Perth Premium Live event, Becky Lynch was questioned about the allegations against former TKO Executive Chairman Vince McMahon. Becky Lynch had the following to say about her former boss, saying, quote, "I've been fortunate in my career that I've always felt supported by the company. These allegations are horrible. It's hard to reconcile as a talent and as a woman, but my experience in WWE has only ever been amazing." Now, the man went on to explain that in the beginning of her time with WWE, the company limited talent. They pushed through that, and she has had a great ride with the company. Those words were spoken in a solemn tone because Lynch realized that not everyone can say the same thing about their experience in WWE. She said, quote, "Yes, in the beginning, there were some restrictions put on things. We couldn't punch. We had to hair pull. There were weird things there. Being able to push us forward, push women forward. I'm very grateful for that and the opportunity to even have my family. This company, some of these things are hard to reconcile." Now, of course, as I mentioned, these allegations are still ongoing regarding Vince McMahon, and several people have commented on the allegations in previous videos. We've spoken about the reaction from John Cena, of course, on the Howard Stern show, where he spoke about the situation, stating that he still loves Vince McMahon. They went through a lot over the years, and Cena was very frank while talking on the Howard Stern show. Randy Orton also addressed the Vince McMahon allegations, expressing that the allegations against him were heartbreaking. The Apex Predator further acknowledged that he owes everything in his career to the former TKO executive chairman. Now, as of this recording, WWE has handed down no directive to any talents, saying they're not allowed to speak about Vince McMahon's situation. Obviously, they are speaking out as this question comes up, as a number of superstars, as time goes on, are most likely to speak out regarding this situation as well. Now, Kevin Owens also spoke about the allegations against Vince McMahon this past weekend, as Janelle Grant's blockbuster lawsuits called Vince McMahon to resign from the company he helped build, and now McMahon's memory is being erased in many ways as the world takes a step back to see the man he tried to hide seemingly for several years. Some members of the locker room are now speaking out to express their shock at the whole situation as well. And the allegations against Vince McMahon sparked reactions from all over, not just in pro wrestling, but outside in mainstream media as well. Vince McMahon, of course, was responsible for booking Kevin Owens as the Universal Champion, his also WrestleMania main event match against Stone Cold Steve Austin, and much more. Kevin Owens may owe McMahon a lot for giving him these opportunities, but it doesn't change the heinous allegations of sex trafficking, assault, abuse, and more that Janelle Grant has included and alleged in her lawsuit. While speaking to Alex McCarthy of the Daily Mail, Owens spoke out about the allegations. Kevin Owens said the following about it. He said, quote, "Everything that has come out is awful, just terrible. There's really no words to describe how sad this makes me feel. If the people spoke out went through what they went through, that's terrible. It's shameful and it can't happen again." That's what it comes down to. So Kevin Owens also speaking out on the allegations too. Let me know your thoughts to what has been said. Let me know your reaction to the allegations as well. Let me know your reaction to the comments from Becky Lynch and Kevin Owens as well in the comments section below. Now, coming out of Elimination Chamber this past weekend, we maybe have a much clearer indication as to the plans moving forward for WrestleMania 40. Now, 2 matches are reportedly slated for WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, after being set up at the Elimination Chamber in Perth. Perth. Now, at the Elimination Chamber event, AJ Styles made a surprise appearance in the match when he interfered against LA Knight, costing him the opportunity to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. Also during the match, Logan Paul attacked Randy Orton with brass knuckles after Orton had already eliminated Paul from the match. There had been speculation on whether the matches would take place at WrestleMania or if all the men plus Kevin Owens would feature in a multi-man match at WrestleMania or something like that. In an update from the Wrestling Observer, it was reported that both singles matches, Knight and Styles and Paul vs. Orton, are currently listed for WrestleMania. It was noted, quote, coming off the Chamber show, those at WWE have confirmed both bouts, AJ Styles vs. LA Knight and Logan Paul vs. Randy Orton, that yesterday's show appeared to set up. Both right now are listed for WrestleMania. Of course, this now adds to the list of growing matches on the WrestleMania card for both Saturday and Sunday. That includes now, coming out of Elimination Chamber, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's World Championship and Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, already confirmed for WrestleMania as well is Bayley challenging for the WWE Women's Championship against Io Sky after winning the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match, as well as Cody Rhodes challenging for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Roman Reigns after winning the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble match. It's also been heavily speculated and promoted, although not confirmed right now, that we're also going to be getting a tag team match which will pit the Bloodlines, The Rock and Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins as well. Now, it was a big week for AEW when it comes to new hires, and one person who's been quite outspoken about AEW in the past, Eric Bischoff, thinks the new hire is going to be a good thing for AEW. Now, AEW made a fairly notable addition to their backstage staff in recent weeks, employing former WWE writer Jennifer Pepperman, who now has the role of Vice President of Content Development in the company. Reports over this week have suggested that she will be working closely with Mercedes Moné, whose arrival to AEW is imminent. Eric Bischoff has been someone who's been rather outspoken when it comes to AEW in the past, but in a change of tune from the former WCW president, he has been outwardly positive about this new arrival when talking on the Strictly Business podcast, even stating that this is the most exciting thing to happen to the company in 3 years. He said, quote, "This is the most exciting thing I've heard out of AEW in the last 3 years, maybe longer. It indicates a couple of things to me. One is Tony recognizes he has a problem. You can't fix a problem or come up with a solution if you don't recognize what's wrong with it first, and the fact that Tony is bringing in people at a high level suggests to me, and part of this is wishful thinking on my part, but I do hope I'm right, that Tony is recognizing that his creative, his fantasy wrestling matches and dream match nonsense and creating wrestling that appeals to the internet, it's not working. I've been banging on that drum for over 2 years now. I've gotten a lot of hate from it. The fact that Tony recognizes that he has a problem, recognizes that he needs to bring somebody in. As I've been saying for years now, you need somebody that understands a disciplined storytelling structure. Not only a beginning, middle, and end, but understanding that plot points along the arc that need to happen. It's almost like a checklist. They need to happen over the course of an arc in order to have any chance of building or retaining an audience. And that's what Tony has had a hard time doing, building and retaining an audience. He's gone from a premiere of 1.4 million viewers down to averaging around 800,000, and that's a problem, especially when the overall audience for wrestling is growing because of WWE and their success. So I think the fact that Tony recognizes, hopefully, and brought somebody in who absolutely has the tools and the experience, and I believe the personality, Jen brings all of that to the table. Now, when it comes to Bischoff, he was, again, very positive about that, but also he's been quite critical of AEW once again. On the latest Strictly Business podcast as well, Bischoff said that weekly AEW programming has become a struggle for him. He said, quote, "Do I watch the show every week? F no," Bischoff said. "I'd rather chew my arm off than sit down for 2 hours of AEW. It's that bad creatively for me. But I do drop in, I do follow certain aspects of AEW that I'm either interested in or want to better understand for the purposes of doing this show, for example." Bischoff noted that his regular co-host, John Alba, frequently counters his critiques of AEW by saying that he doesn't watch the show every week. However, Bischoff had his own counter for that statement. He said, quote, "I don't have to watch the effing product," Bischoff said. "I don't have to sit down and watch 2 hours. I've been in the business for a minute or two." Bischoff believes he's been in the business for long enough to see patterns of where AEW is going to go, and all signs point to to them needing Peppermint to juice up the programming. Quote, the product needed someone like Jen. It's all chemistry. She's got all the tools, Bischoff said, hoping that AEW president Tony Khan doesn't get in her way. Bischoff's struggle with AEW programming is not out of character, as I mentioned, for the former WCW president who has been vocally critical of AEW and the product in the past. What are your thoughts on Bischoff's comments? Is he right? Is he wrong? Let me know, as always, in the comment section below. Finally, one person who's been absent from AEW programming is one executive vice president of the company, Kenny Omega. Now, AEW EVP Kenny Omega has announced a project he'll be involved in during his wrestling hiatus. Now, with Omega out of action indefinitely, there's been a lot of speculation about Omega's future both in and outside of the ring. Omega has now announced that he will be a co-host for the launch stream of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The stream will begin on February 28 at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Omega took to Twitter to note, very excited to announce that I'll be hosting the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launch stream. The One-Winged Angel is coming. Now, Omega's One-Winged Angel is notably a reference to the Final Fantasy franchise. The AEW EVP last wrestled on December 5th, 2023, defeating Ethan Page in a singles match at an AEW Collision taping. Omega then took to social media to share a photo of himself in a hospital bed on December 15, noting that he'd be out of action indefinitely. It was later confirmed that Omega had been suffering from diverticulitis. So that's the latest when it comes to Omega. If we get any more updates on his wrestling future, his health, of course, we'll let you know in a future video. But there you go, guys. This is the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.